ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। परमानन्दमाधवम्। Hari Om. Before we enter the lesson, there are two questions I'd like to answer. Only as we dismiss, can you hear me? Here. As we dismiss time and space, can ignorance be dismissed too in deep sleep? No, ignorance cannot be dismissed. Ignorance is the avarana, it is the cover. So ignorance cannot be, it would have been very easy if you are able to dismiss ignorance also. For samadhi, what we should do? Just go to sleep, we dismiss ignorance. Once ignorance is dismissed means what? How we have become wise. We have acquired knowledge. So this is a deep sleep. What happens? We are in causal body. Causal body means ignorance is the basic cause. So ignorance is not dismissed. Okay. But when the mind is dismissed, the time and our mind ceases functioning, the time and space, this concept, the sankalpa, kala desha sankalpa stops. It is not there. That's why we are able to sleep. All the thoughts are stilled in sleep. Okay. And yes. You know, this in the waking state, our bodies, we are aware of the body and also the mind. Body, mind, these two are at work. In deep sleep, body is resting and so is the mind. In dream, this body is at rest, but the mind is at work. That is the Swapna Avastha. In Sushupti Avastha, the ignorance is there. Okay. Then, I hope it is clear. Then, Samir, can you please explain the subtler meaning of Dakshinamurti once again? Okay. You know, this Dakshinamurti in these slokas, you will find, here everywhere. Tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Sri Dakshinamurti. See, so many things are about the Paramatman, what the Paramatma is doing, and then this Sri Dakshinamurti is none other than the Paramatma himself. Paramatma, it himself means Paramatma, we can say itself, we can say herself, because this is gender neutral. No gender. Paramatma, Brahma is neutral gender in Sanskrit, but Paramatma is pulling, and Shakti Swarupini Devi is all in feminine gender in Striling. But Brahma is in neutral gender. But then when we say Paramatma, we have to take it as gender neutral. It applies to everything. Or it is beyond the frontiers of all genders. Better to take it that way. Okay. Then, we have seen that Dakshinamurti, we have seen it earlier. We have seen this Dakshina. Generally, we understand it as south, Dakshin Bharat. But here, Dakshina has different connotation. It is a special meaning taken not only for this purpose. The interpreters, especially the Swayam Prakashayati, he is in Manasollasa is also it is mentioned. Dakshinaha. Dakshinaha means Jagat Srishti Sthiti Samhara Vishaye Samartascha Asau Amurtischa Asharirascha Idi Dakshinamurti. Dakshinaha. Dakshinaha means Samarthaha, who is competent, who is capable. In what? Jagat Srishti Sthiti Samhara Vishaye. The creation, sustenance, and destruction of the world, of the prapancha, one who is capable of doing it, one who does it, and mind you, Dakshinaha, Dakshina plus Amurti means Asharirish. He doesn't have a body because he is all pervading. So Dakshinaha means Jagat Srishti Sthiti Samhara Vishaye Samarthaha, capable of creating, sustaining, and destroying the world, Srishti Sthiti Samhara, and who also doesn't have a body, meaning all pervading. He is the all pervading absolute truth. This is Dakshinamurti. Then when we add Sri Dakshinamurti, that also is interpreted. Sriya means Anadi Achintya Maya Shaktya. Sriya. That is called Sri. Anadi Ananta Maya Shakti. That is Sri. Okay. So that Shaktya Dakshinaha. Okay. Then there is another meaning also given. That is Shemushi Dakshina Prokta Sa Yasyam Ikshane Mukam. That also we said yesterday. Shemushi Dakshina Prokta. Shemushi, whose intellect is so bright, so brilliant, means knows everything. She is all knowing. Shemushi Dakshina Prokta and Yasyam Ikshane Mukham. So to that face owned by or possessed by Sri Dakshinamurti, we are all turning toward. We means the sadhaks are turning towards north. He is sitting in our direction. That is, he is facing the south and we are facing the north. Dakshinabhimukha proktaha Shivoso Brahmavadibhi. In short, who is he? He is Lord Shiva himself. He is the avatar, incarnation of Lord Shiva himself. Shemushi Dakshina Prokta Sa Yasyam Ikshane Mukham Dakshinabhimukha Proktaha Shivoso Brahmavadibhi. This is what Brahmavadi is. Brahmavadi means Brahmajnaninaha. Okay. This is, I hope it's clear. Then we are into Bijasyantaryankuro Jagadidam Prang Nurvigalpam Punaha Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana Vaichitra Chitri Kritam. Mayaviva Vijrumbayati Vijrumbayatyapi Mahayogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. In the about this here also Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Sri Dakshinamurtaye. Dakshinamurti is the absolute truth here. He is the absolute truth. Paramatma, Parabrahma. That way we are in Manasola by Sureshwaracharya it is Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Devaya Vyomavat Vyapta Rupaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Dakshinamurti. And again in the prayer, which we Vatavitapi Samipe Bhumibhage Vishannam Chitram Vatadaro Mule Vruddha Shishya Guru Riva. He is ever young, youthful. But the Shishyas are all elderly people, aged people. But Guru who you are means, a deity. Have you seen any old Lakshmi Devi or Saraswati Devi with the grey hair and all that? No. And these Deva Devis, these deities, they have Shaishavam, they have Balyam, they have Kaumaram, they have Yauvanam. They are stocks. They don't age further. That is the concept, that is Puranic concept. This Shiva, Vishnu, nobody ages. Once they reach adulthood, youth, they are ever, what is called, Harida Yuvatvam, evergreen youth. So that is what they are. So here, Vruddha Shishya Gurur Yuva. Gurustu Maunam Vyakhyanam, Shishyastu Chinna Samshayaha. And how does Guru communicate? Through Maunam. Through Maunam means silence. Because his presence is sufficient. And are the Shishyas becoming any the wiser? Yes. Chinna Samshayaha. All their doubts are set at naught. All doubts stand clarified. So Dakshinamurti, it's all Vaibhava, the glory, the greatness of Dakshinamurti, seen as Guru, Paramatma, everything here. Tasmai. So into this sloka, Maya Viva Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana Vaichitri Chitri Kridam. In the beginning there was the absolute truth, one without a second. And when there was only one, then how did the creation start? That is called Maya Vilasam. Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana Vaichitri Chitri Kritam. This morning class we have seen how so many miracles are already existing that we are not sensitive to the miracles. Like our own body having had a beginning on a sperm of our father, and then today it has grown and we have everything, head, body, everything we have. And the trees, the banyan tree we told you about, with a covering with so many acres, and its origin was a small tiny seed. All these are actually miracles. The point is that then that doesn't mean that the creation emerged out of nothing. No, there was seed. That is admitted. There was seed. What is that seed? The samskaras. At the time of Pralaya, the samskaras are there, and that is in the this in the form of the Shakti, along with the Shakti, along with the Shiva, there is Shakti. That is in our, in our Hindu pantheon, everybody has a consort. Is it not true? Shiva has Parvati, Vishnu has Lakshmi, Brahma has Saraswati. Without this Shakti, they cannot discharge their departmental responsibilities. Is it true? Is it not true? Shakti is there. As in Saundarya Lahari, another work of Shankaracharya, it is said, Shiva Shaktya Yuktaha. So Shiva, without the presence of Shakti, without the prabhav, influence of Shakti, Shiva cannot do anything. Vishnu cannot do anything. The creation is possible. Brahma cannot do anything without the Shakti. So Shakti is the one that is, in the absolute, that even state, what causes the wave, what causes the vibration is Shakti, Tarang. So that is how the very start of the creation. That is in the very seed form. That is Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana Vaichitri Chitri Kritam. But it happens as if from out of nothing things have come up. Maya Viva Vijrumpayati. Even in the case of a Mayavi, a juggler, an Indrajal person, so Swechaya, his mind, it casts a spell on the spectators, the people who are watching it. Maya Vijrumpayatyapi. Then Mahayogi Yasvechaya. That's interesting. Mahayogi. In this, Mahayogis can also create from their the Ichha Shakti. You have examples in the Mahabharata, Ramayana. For example, in Mahabharata, Vishwamitra, didn't he create a Trishanku Sorga? A Sorga for Trishanku, because one fellow wanted to go to heaven with the body. And from the Ikshvaku Vamsha, from Rama's own this dynasty. So Vasishtha Guru said, no, it's not possible. You can't go to heaven with your body. But he insisted. But Vasishtha said, no, nothing doing. Because these great rishis, they don't violate the natural laws. They don't violate. They may have siddhis and all that. Normally, they don't employ it. They don't exercise it. Because by exercising the siddhis, generally what happens, they are interfering with the natural laws, which they don't do. Okay. And Vasishtha refused, and Vasishtha's rival was Vishwamitra. This guy, Trishanku, went to Vishwamitra and narrated, see, I requested Vasishtha, but he did not. So now I take refuge at and Vishwamitra, who was doing great tapas and who possessed some power, he said, oh, Vasishtha refused, no? Then I will show my power. You go to heaven. Let me watch. And this fellow going up, reaching there, Indra said, no. Doors were slammed against him. So he came down, plummeting. Poor man. And Vishwamitra was watching. Hey, you stay there. If Indra doesn't let you in, here I am going to create on the spot, instantaneously, another Sorga. Another Sorga came up, and Indra got scared. Then there was some conciliatory talk and all, they made some adjustment. Finally, he was admitted to the heaven, Trishanku. Meaning, here the point is, Mahayogis can do that. People who have Ashtasiddhis, because of their tapas, this when talking about the people are interested. Oh, Ashtasiddhis. So instead of jnana, why not going for Ashtasiddhis? Some interest will be generated. See, these are all very dangerous things. Some people, do years and years of tapasya. This story is narrated of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a childhood friend. He was also into some spiritual practice and all that. After so many years, they met, and then they exchanged pleasantries, initial pleasantries and all that. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had by then become very popular as a spiritual giant, and so many devotees. But this fellow said, "Yes, I have been also doing tapas." Okay, tell me what tapas were you doing, and what have you got? Ramakrishna asked. Then this guy said, "See, I can now walk over the waters." Oh, can you? Yes. Come on. The river Ganga was nearby. Dakshineshwar was on the banks of Ganga, So they went to the Ganges. And this fellow muttered some mantra, and then he started walking on the Ganges. He went to the other bank, he crossed and came back. And this fellow expected Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa to applaud him and hug him and congratulate him and all that. But Ramakrishna Paramahamsa mockingly laughed out. He laughed and laughed and laughed. And this man was wonderstruck. Why is he laughing like this? Has he gone crazy, mad? He said, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa told him, "Look, my dear friend, how many years did you practice this tapas?" "Yes, I did it for 12 years. 12 years? You are a stupid fellow. What a stupid fellow you are. You have wasted 12 years. I have this Siddhi, What Siddhi? You walked across the river, walking over the water. You give a quarter of an anna. In those days, anna, that coin. 1/4 of the anna you give to the ferryman, he would take you across. Why did you waste your 12 years? Therefore, you are a stupid fellow." This is what Siddhi is all about. It is okay for Shankaracharya elsewhere says that is good for what? Bhuktaye, natu muktaye. Mukti you will not get. Bhukti you can have. You announce that you are a Siddha Purusha and all that, and people will give you a lot of money because they want blessings. They want worldly things, so they come and seek blessings. And all your siddhis will be gone in no time. So the wise men, the jnanis, they would not exercise their siddhis. As a side effect, as a side benefit, some of them, according to their tapas, sadhanas, they may acquire some siddhis, but they would never exercise. Because that is as bad as interfering with the natural laws. Okay, here now. But there are certain occasions, there are great saints. Here, I told you about Vishwamitra, but Vishwamitra regretted having done all this. There is another example. This is from Mahabharata, Vishwamitra's. Another example from Ramayana. Ramayana, Rama was sent to the forest. He was exiled, and Bharata came back from tour, and he came to know about it, and he was so crestfallen, and he with the delegation we mentioned yesterday went to the forest Chitrakoot, and on the way, because it needed a lot of trekking to Chitrakoot, and on the way there was an ashram of Bharadwaj Muni, Bharadwaj Muni. And, hundreds of thousands of people with Bharata proceeding to Chitrakoot, and they visited on the way falls this Bharadwaja Muni's ashram. And Bharadwaja Muni just received Bharata and the group, and he invited them. Let's, anyway, you must be very tired, you take rest. You will have lunch, dinner, everything here, and tomorrow morning you proceed. Hey, how can you? Hey, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Because you can't feed me alone. There are lot many people, thousands. You look behind, so many are. Yes, I know. I have already seen. You will all be sumptuously fed. And then they were all fed. How did it happen? Siddhi, Bharadwaja Muni. This is from Ramayana. And Bharadwaja Muni was not living in a palace. He was living in a small hut. But he had everything. He had everything, but then he wouldn't use all that. But here an occasion arises where people are to be fed, hospitality has to be displayed, has to be shown. There he invoked those powers. But that is not to show his siddhi or anything. It is to help them. Okay, due to fatigue, they walked a long distance. Now, here he wanted to help. This is another story. There, Mahayogi Yasvechaya, meaning these things can be created out of one's own Icha, Sankalpa Shakti, power of Sankalpa, it is possible. Similarly, Paramatma, with this Sankalpa Shakti, he has created this world. Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana, Vaichitriya Chitrikritam, Maya Viva Vijrumbayat Tyapi Maha Yogiva Yasvechaya. And who is this Paramatma? Who is all doing all these things? None other than Dakshinamurti himself. So Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. Ishvaro Guru Atmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine. Ishvaraha Guru Atma. These three are one. That is ultimate conclusion of the Vedanta is that there are no three things. Ishvaraha, Guru, Atma, all one. But at the empirical level, as long as one is a sadhak, everything is there. But even if one becomes a jnani, the relationship with the Guru is always different. Na Advaitam Guruna Saha. No disciple worth his salt would ever say, now we are equal. He would never say to the Guru, now we are equal because you are a jnani, I am also a jnani. No. Always do samarpana before the Guru. Shankaracharya, how great he was, such a great jnani, he would always surrender to the Guru. Here, Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. So, we must be very clear about this. Mayaviva Vijrumbayatyapi Mahayogiva Yasvechaya Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam. Namaskar to that. We have to go a little faster, otherwise this slokas we will not be able to finish. Okay. Okay, this world is full of sorrows, worries, tensions, and whatnot. The samsara dukha. How to get rid of this? How does he help us? It is said, we will go into the next sloka. Please repeat after me. Sloka number 3. Yasyaiva spuranam sadatmakamasat kalparthakam bhasate. Once again, yes, I will break the words first, then it will be easier for you. Sorry. Yasya eva Spuranam Sada Atmakam Asatkalparthakam Bhasate Sakshat Tattvamasi iti Veda Vachasa Yo Bodhayati Asritan Yat Sakshat Karanat Bhaved Na Punaravrittihi Bhavambho Nidhau Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Sri Dakshina Murtaye. The prose order is the Anvayam is Yasya Sadatmakam Spuranam Eva Asatkalparthakam Bhasate Saha Asritan Tattvamasi iti Vachasa Sakshat Bodhayati Yat Sakshat Karanat Bhavambhonitau Punaha Avartihi Na Bhavet Tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye Idam Namaha. So, the way to get rid of the samsara, sagar, it is said. Only Dakshinamurti can help. And who is this Dakshinamurti? As we said earlier, the Paramatman himself. Paramatman himself. Yasyaiva Spuranam Sadatmakamidam. Yasyaiva Spuranam Sadat. Yasyaiva Spuranam. Meaning whose effulgence, Yasyaiva Spuranam Sadatmakam Asatkalparthakam Bhasate. Very simple thing, you know. Asatkalparthakam. Actually, the Vedantic conclusion is that the world doesn't exist. But still, we see the world, how the Jada Prapancha is there. The inert world is there. That is it. Asatkalparthakam Bhasate. But then, there should be I to take cognizance of, or to be aware of, or to be conscious of this world. Without me, the world doesn't get recognition. Meaning, if the world is to be recognized, I should be there. The consciousness should be there. Otherwise, it is as good as Jada only. Parthakam Bhasate. So, this existence is there. Sat Bhavam is there. In Jada Vastu also Sat is there. But that Sat exists for whom? Only to one who is conscious. Yasyaiva Spuranam. Yasyaiva Spuranam. Yasyaiva Spuranam means the feeling of I. When I am there, that I sense is there, I recognize the other things. There are two things, the aham bodhaha and idam bodhaha. I sense and that the world of object. Okay. The Spuranam is actually this manifestation. That also we can say. Yasyaiva Spuranam Sadatmakam Asatkalparthakam Bhasate. So whose Spuranam, the manifestation, is manifestation in the form of the consciousness, and it cognizes the Asatkalparthakam. Means, in other words, the consciousness lends existence to the all the Asat Yadavastu. Is it not true? Yes, it's not very, something which cannot be understood easily. An inert object is there. How do I know? Because I am there, a conscious being that I am, I take note of this. Simple, that's all. all the Jada Padarthas, all the inert objects are taken cognizance of by me, the consciousness. That is how the Spuranam takes place. They acquire their existence when they are taken cognizance of by the consciousness. That's all. Yes, and that consciousness belongs to whom? Say, Sri Dakshinamurti. Yasyaiva Spuranam means Yasya Paramatmanaha Spuranam. Yasya Dakshinamurtehe Paramatmanaha Spuranam. Sadatmakam, and Sadatmakam. Sadatmakam means if anybody says the world doesn't exist, no, world does exist. It gains this existence because of whom? Because of the cognizance that I take of it. Then, not only that, so the Paramatma, the Bodha, lends consciousness to it or existence to it. Not only that, Sakshat Tattvamasiti Veda Vachasa Yo Bodhayati Ityasridan. Asridan means one who is surrendering himself to the Guru, to the Dakshinamurti. What does he do? Tattvamasiti Veda Vachasa. The world has existence. We have seen the definition of Brahman, Sat, Chit, Ananda. And the Sat, Chit, Ananda is not reflected everywhere. Sat is reflected in the Jata Padarthas, Sat alone. And in our minds, where consciousness is reflected, we have Sat and Chit both. In the body, only Sat or Jata Padartha. Body, of course, it is the life is there, but Jata Padartha, if you take, only Sat is their existence. Their Bodha is not there. Life is not there. And mind, when you come to where anger is there, passion is there, bhaya, fear is there, then existence plus consciousness, these two are there. And in the pure blissful state, Ananda, there, Ananda is there, consciousness is there, Sat is also there. Sat, Chit, Ananda. And this Maya puts a veil, a covering. The world, the Jata Padartha, there is no manifestation of consciousness. But in my mind, there is life manifestation, consciousness manifestation. And the mind, when it is stilled, when it is quietened, when it is calmed, what happens? And happiness is also there. Is it not true? A quiet mind is a happy mind. Quiet mind. Quiet mind means what? A stilled mind. Stilled of what? All the thoughts are stilled. Thoughts come down. So that mind is very happy. Ananda is there. Then Chit is there. I am conscious of that. And then Sat, of course, it exists. Sat, Chit, Ananda, these three are taken or are realized by the Jnanis as they themselves. But in our case, we exist and we are conscious. But now and then we get little bit of Ananda. But in deep sleep state, we are fully enjoying that bliss. But there is a difference. I mean, if in deep sleep state, Ananda is manifesting, Is that equivalent? Is that equated to the experience of a jnani? No. It is not equated to the experience of a jnani. If that were equated with an experience of a jnani, then we all would have preferred sleep, and of course you can't sleep always as well. There is a limitation, you can sleep for 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, not more than that. Even the laziest fellow will sleep for 16 hours, but some waking hours he should have. Is it not true? So what happens is, this Ananda aspect is reflected when the mind is stilled. And Chit aspect is reflected in the mind, because mind is a subtle equipment. And Jada Padarthas, Chit is manifested. Sat is manifested. And Sat Chit Ananda. But even the Jada Padartha, please understand, that is Brahman. That is Brahman. That is why the Jnanis see everything, everywhere as Brahman only. Nothing short of that. Jnanis. So one who sees himself in everything and everything in himself, like in Gita it is said, one who sees everything in himself and himself in everything. He said, Jnani, how? It is not figurative way of putting it. No, it is the fact. When he sees even the Jada Padarthas, the Jnani realizes that is nothing but truth. You minus that name and form. Name and form may bring some limitations. Limitations of time, space, etc. But existence as such, existence per se, it is, and that is Sat. And the Jnani knows it. So it doesn't mean this Sattva, Chitta, Ananda, these are all compartmentalized. Ananda is separate, Chit is separate, Sat is separate. They are all one and the same. One homogeneous thing, but then we don't experience. Are you traveling with me? Am I clear enough? It's a bit difficult, I know, it's a bit tough. But if you have asked, if you have doubts, please ask. No problem. You can WhatsApp. This Ananda, Chit and Sat, they are all one. But then reflecting part of it, when it comes, the Ananda is reflected in the quiet mind. And the consciousness, the Chit is reflected in the mind. We said, all the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, these are all expressed by the consciousness. And in Jata Padarthas, inert things, only Sat is there. Why the difference? Because of the difference in the media. The medium, the madhyamam, the instrument, the equipment. The equipment, that makes the difference. Okay. Now, when this fact is taken note of, then the whole world is Satchidananda only. Sat is there, even in Jada Padartha, Sat is there. And Chit is there, Ananda is there. The whole world is that alone. When we realize this, how do we realize this? The Guru says the whole world is that, then you are not different from it. Tat Tvam Asi. This is a Mahavakya. Tat Tvam Asi. See, everything is Sat Chit Ananda, then you can't be different from it. So that thou art. So realize that Tattvam Asi, Tattvam Asi, that thou art. That what does this mean? This means that Brahman Tvam means you and I, the Jivatma. Tat is Paramatma. Or say Ishvara. Ishvara, this is Jivatma. Asi is the connecting link, the verb. The identity is established. Identity is conveyed. Tat Tvam Asi. Clear? Not clear. I know. It takes time. It takes time. Don't worry, it takes time. Because when you study Vedanta more and more and more, ponder over it, contemplate upon it, you will get it. But these are the theoretical aspect of it. A little, not a little. It's a little subject. What you call subtle subject, I should say. Sukshma tattvas. But then when you have a contemplative mind, if you are able to develop that, then you will easily understand and appreciate. So the Guru, Dakshinamurti, how does he teach? Tattvam Asi. The Gurus, they would say, you always be my disciple. You are my disciple, you be always my disciple. And I am always the Guru. I have a status, you have a status. No, nothing of that. We are all one and the same. That's what Vedantic Guru says to the disciple. Tattvamasi, that Paramatma, only thing is the Upadhi should go. The Ishvara has a whole cosmos is his body, and my body, mind, intellect is limited. You remove the Upadhis, and what remains is the pure consciousness, Sat Chit Ananda. In the ocean and wave example, in the ocean, there are waves of different types, different sizes. One big wave, another smaller wave, then a bubble. All these things are there. But content-wise, what are they? They are only water. They are only water. This has to be understood. See, gold ornaments. There may be an earring or ear stud or nose ring or nose stud, then chain, bangles, anklets, all made of gold. This is general example given in the Vedantic masters. The names and forms are different, but the gold is the truth. So in the whole world, the whole prapancha, Sat Chit Ananda is the truth, and that thou art. That is what the teacher teaches the student. Tat sakshat tattvamasi veda vachasa. It is not that the Guru concocts or invents a Mahavakya and teaches. No, it is drawn from the Vedas. Vedas form the basic pramana authority of the Hindus. In fact, all those who seek knowledge, Vedas are the highest authority. Sakshat tattvamasi iti veda vajasa yo bodhayati asritan. So those who have surrendered to him, he teaches them. He enlightens them. Bodhayati. Bodhayati. Okay, I realize this. What is the benefit? What is the advantage? Yet sakshat karanat, realizing which bhavambho nidhau na punaravrittihi. There is no return to the samsara. Bhavambho nidhau. Bhava ambudhi. So bhava means the change. The word of change means what? In our own life, when When we were born, we were babies. Shishu, then Balyavastha, then Kaumaravastha, then Yauvanavastha, then Vardhakyavastha, then we go. These are all changes, and through this, so many other changes are there, and these changes bring about sorrows. I know some changes can bring about good also. No, that is also right. But we are not talking about that change. See, in the world, when we draw a balance sheet every day, every evening, in most cases, generality of mankind, most cases, see, more sighs and sobs are there in life. Is it not true? This is called samsara dukkha. See, we may be very healthy, but our own kith and kin, something happens to them. Can we remain happy? No. Or my own health is gone. A physical health is gone, or mentally I am not in a good frame. See, so many things are enemies are there. The passion, lust, fear, anger, all these things are there. That keeps eating into the vitals of my mind. So these are all the woes of the world, the worries of the world. But once you realize the absolute truth, Paramatma, that the meaning and the content and the truth of Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi or same, or Prajnanam Brahma or Ayamatma Brahma, what is the advantage? Even while living the rest of the life, we are ever happy. Why? Then the Jnani won't have any problem. Jnani, see, there are two kinds of problems. One is the physical problem. Physical problem may come because according to his prarabdha, even Ramana Maharshi or Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, they both had cancer. How? Great men, prarabdha. But then this prarabdha wouldn't affect them. Why? They know that this cancer and all that affects and afflicts only the body. Their mind is hooked on to Paramatma. It is tuned to Paramatma. So even that is why Ramana Maharshi asked the doctor, and he wanted to anesthetize. He said, no need. You want to cut, you cut. No problem. Why? He has already detached himself from that part of the body. This is not a story, but this is actually what happened. Because total detachment is possible. When your mind is tuned up to that truth, it happens. Okay. So, yat sakshat karanat bhavet na punaravrittir bhavam bhonitho. So, there is no return to the samsara. No, somebody said, no, I want to return to this world. That means you have not understood what this world is. The worries and woes of the world, once you pass off, it is given in the Upanishads, the difficulties through which you have to pass, how many worlds in the upper world and all that, and then through that Jivatma, through the rains, you fall on the earth, and it gets into the some sasya, some plant, and that plant is eaten by some animal. That animal or the plant eaten by can't say. Eaten by some human being. And see, the Jivatma passes through how many stages. One who knows this, Bhagavan, don't give me another birth. Let me let me complete my tenure in this life itself. Let me acquire that knowledge, by knowing which my life becomes fulfilled. There's nothing more to acquire, and I am satisfied with what I am. Atmanyevatmana tushtaha. Thereafter, once the self-knowledge comes to bless you, it dawns upon you, the benefit is unspeakable. Meaning you can't explain, inexplicable. How are these all words? No. Because you don't expect anything from anyone. You accept the world as it is. Today we have so many problems because I expect so many things from you and you expect things from me, our own people, or we expect so many things from the government. Right? So these expectations, when they are belied, when the other person doesn't rise to my expectation, I am upset. There are umpteen things which can upset. Every day we are meeting, suppose, and we smile each other, we wish each other. One day, my mind was somewhere and I forgot to smile, and you started thinking about, hey, why he didn't smile at me? Normally he wishes, today he did not do. See? Like that, so many things are upsetting us. In the case of a wise man, nothing upsets because he accepts the world as it is, doesn't expect anything from anyone. This is called Nirapeksha Niradishaya Ananda. Nirapeksha means not dependent upon anything, not dependent upon anyone. Nirapeksha Niradishaya means there's nothing more than that I can get. See, be content with what we have. That's a general saying. That's a general thing. But then still we are not content. We want this, we want that. But in the case of a wise man, he doesn't want anything. That is why this Alexander, heard of the story of Alexander, the great emperor. He grabbed every inch of land possible under the sun, and then he had, one good quality. He had great respect for saints. And once he heard about one saint, Diogenes, and Diogenes, he heard that, this man just like walking around like a beggar, whatever, sometimes he eats earth and he defecates wherever he wants. He may or may not wear clothes, but many people are around him, after him, because of his divinity, greatness. It is not only in India, in some other countries also, some cases are there where they have got this wisdom. They might have come to India sometimes and acquired it. And then this Alexander went to him and he said, please come to the capital. I will take care of you. He said, no, I am happy the way I am. See, now you look at the condition. What condition? I am happy I am. Always happy. But sir, I want to help you. No, I don't need any help. If you want to help me, just move a little so that sunlight will fall on me. The sunlight, you are obstructing the sunlight. You let the sunlight on me, that is enough. I don't want anything else. See, this is Atma Tushti is this. See, when you unfold your own nature as the very fountainhead, the very source of Ananda, bliss and beatitude, you don't depend upon anything. The whole world, whatever it is, able to offer you, it is nothing, it is peanuts. It is short-lived, it is temporary, it is ephemeral, it is not lasting. So I am now the owner, the Jnani says, the Jnani experiences, not says. Jnani experiences the peace that passeth all understanding, meaning always full and contented within himself. Atmanyevatmana tushtaha. Sthita Prajna Lakshana is given in the second chapter. Maybe some of you who are gone through Gita. Sthita Prajna Lakshana in the second chapter, Bhagavan narrates who a Jnani is. What are the characteristics or what are the lakshanas of a Sthita Prajna? A man of steady wisdom, one who is well established in this knowledge. Okay, so Tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. So now, today we will close here, and the basic things are shared more or less. Now also there may be doubts, you can keep asking the doubts, no problem. And because we have to finish this sloka, so we will go a little faster tomorrow onwards. Okay, so I would appeal to you, please be familiar with the verses, standing of the verses, because by the time we finish this, each one of you, all the delegates, all the attendees, all the students must be able to recite the slokas without difficulty, because there are some tongue twisting words in Sanskrit. Don't worry, please, through repetition, you will succeed. Okay, thank you. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.